guys, hope you're doing well. This is TJ, and you're listening to Beyond the Ring podcast. This is my review and discussion on A&E's biography or Shawn Michaels. So prior to this, we had a Booker T's biography, which was very good, and I was next one was Shawn Michaels. Even though we know about Shawn Michaels, we had seen here and there, we had read about it, but I was pretty excited to see his career and how he started out because I didn't know about his 80s and early 90s and all how he started off his wrestling career. So was a pretty very pretty good fun biography, I would say. So without any further ado, let's get into this biography then. Biography actually opened with some footage of his backstage management of NXT, pitching ideas and all. That's what we saw first in initial minutes, and then we saw Ric Flair, Triple H, and Kevin Nash, Steve Austin, Undertaking, telling their thoughts about Shawn Michaels, how he's one of the greatest wrestlers to ever step foot in that ring. Bret had also said, whenever I see this guy, I would just want to kill him because of their stuff they had in 90s, mid 90s. And Vince McMahon also shared his thoughts that at once I just wanted to beat the actually wanted to beat this guy at more than one equation. But he says that nevertheless he was very good. He was very nice at what he was doing. At what he was doing actually. And there were some many wrestler who had issues with him because of his backstage politics and his influence with the higher authorities at that time. And he was very selfish and all at that time as well. So that's what people were hating about him. And Triple H says actually, if you see Shawn Michaels, he said he had two lives. And when we see Shawn Michaels right now, he's not the one we had been seeing in 80s 90s or in the early 2000s or something. Is very different from now. And I totally agree with Triple H, because when we see now Triple H sorry Shawn Michaels in the storyline and all, in backstage and all, we see that we actually doubt that this is the guy that put one of the greatest ladder match. This is the guy who put one of the greatest wrestling matches with Undertaker, with Chris Jericho, and Bret Hart as well, Steve Austin. You name it. This guy is good with. This guy didn't haven't had a bad match or something. This guy was that good. So Triple H says that there have been two lives of Shawn Michaels, and the one which it is. It's the second lives, and but it's only Shawn Michaels, as he says. And then we got to the scene of NXT taping, July 2020. He's pitching some out ideas to Matt Bloom, uh, and we see some footage then he imparting the knowledge to the NXT superstar like Balor, Timothy Thatcher, Johnny Gargano. And Triple H says it's surprising to see this guy sitting in his Shawn Michaels actually. And I totally agree with that actually, because I can't agree with that more, because that's what we are seeing right now. Because how he's motivated and how he's very passionate about this business to give to contribute to this business, and that's very good. And that's the greatest things anyone can do in their entire life. And then we go to Peter Rosenberg, a radio host. He says he's a kind of wrestler who related to all of them, and someone or the other can learn from him, as he said. And then we saw the beginning, and this was the beginning, as I said. This was the point where they were starting to focusing on his early childhood memories, his family and all, his father and all. So he lays out some information on that, his childhood. His father was a pilot in Air Force. He born in Arizona, but he actually his dad was in Air Force. That's why they used to move a lot, like from Vietnam, England, Maryland, and they finally settled at Texas, and they settled there. And if you don't know, his full name is Michael Shawn Hickenbottom, but he was called Shawn by his friends and all. But he actually shared a fun moment when he his when he teacher called his teacher actually called his name as Hickenbottom, and that was a fun moment that he did. This guy, whatever he enacts, is so funny, because. Uh, I actually laughed at that moment. So this was a fun moment that he had. And when then we saw his mother's interview as well, which was a footage of 2002. Carol Hickenbottom, and he says about his son that he was very quiet and shy. He was an extrovert. He wasn't an extrovert actually. His father said he was a nice little boy, and people liked him. And that's a nice little things that his family actually said about his behavior and all, and how he was in the childhood. He was Shawn Michaels said he liked and enjoyed playing football. He was a fan of football. At the age of 12, he happened to be notice Southward Wrestling opening slow motion montage, as he states, because and that was the thing. That was the moment where he was kind of enthralled and kind of hooked to that, and he wanted to become. He was started to liking wrestling. He wanted to become a professional wrestler. At that point, they also showed a footage where he was saying to his mother he would become a professional wrestler growing up, and his mother says, "Oh, that's nice." And I in this, in my opinion, my thoughts are that in this side, there are many few parents and few mothers actually supporting their children to pursue into go into wrestling, because this is not an easy life. If you think so, if you people see that you get loads of money, you should just want to take pumps and all. It's fake and all. But when you do that stuff, when you do practical things, you would understand that, because it's not easy to become a wrestler. It's a very mental thing that you should, and you should be smart, and you should be understanding all the things of what is going on at that moment actually, because it's being done most probably 99% of the time, and live in the front of audience. And now in the case of live in the front of video screens of the fans, so it's a very tough business if you want to grow it up in that business. So, and he's actually very lucky to have his mother and father. And he actually his mother actually said that he used to go at Freeman Coliseum, where wrestling events used to take place. And he used to go with a Kenny Kent named guy, who was a friend of Shawn Michaels at the school times, when he was 15. And they used to in 1980s time, in late 1980 actually, they were hooked into wrestling, and they used to go and watch the wrestling events and all. And they had that shared interest going on. So this was the point where they were trying to get into the wrestling business. And he and his friends actually uh, uh, try to do wrestling and all in their field. Shawn Michaels and Kenny Kent, his school friend, had the shared interest of doing wrestling and all. And Shawn Michaels was liking to do taking bumps and all to his friends, but his friends don't allow him. But Kenny Kent was one of them who used to have professional wrestling matches with them, kind of training and performing with him in his early age, because of the same interest that they got. So uh, Kenny Kent actually performed a professional wrestling match on the stage during the high school talent show that they had. And at one point in a match, actually, Kenny Kent actually threw Michaels off to the outside of the ring with the with but at that time Shawn Michaels actually hit the chair, and he was busted open. And that resulted into a cut into his head. And that match was finished. Then some memories of the starting of his career, and how he began about this was what he said. And actually happened to understand that his father was also into amateur wrestling in his early days at University of Iowa. And after that, Shawn Michaels shared a memory, shared where his beginning of wrestling training began. One fine day, actually, Shawn's dad actually happened to play golf with a promoter for Southwest Championship Wrestling. So his father actually asked how can his son could get into this wrestling. So the promoter said he could join Jose Lozario's wrestling school. So his dad actually didn't think twice, because at when Shawn Michaels he became, as his father said, he became 30 or 40, and then when he would be asking me, if you would have given me the money, I would have become a successful wrestler, and that would have been a very bad moment for me and for my son as well, because he's not doing what he loves. So I think I didn't think twice. So he said he actually paid $3,000 for him. So he was that's the point. He was pretty affluent in his early life, because his father was a Air Force employee. So there's that. So we had seen so many wrestlers come from bottom to top and all. They had no money and no fame and all, and no things to do and all. So he actually met Marty Jannetty in Kansas City, where he was working after working 6 months in Louisiana for Bill Watts, and it was here where Michaels met Marty Jannetty. Actually, Marty Jannetty met Michaels. That would be a better statement actually, because better sentence actually, because the Marty Jannetty actually shared a memory where he was actually telling us that Shawn Michaels is coming, Shawn Michaels, and he was so popular at that time, and Marty Jannetty didn't know who's this guy, and he actually happened to ask who Shawn Michaels is, and he actually happened to ask Shawn Michaels itself, who is this Shawn Michaels, and he said, I am Shawn Michaels, and he actually shared that fun memory, and he was very happy in this interview, and actually was very happy to see him uh, by seeing him happy actually. And in addition, this was one of the greatest tag team of 80s and early 90s actually. I happened to see some things of their work, but I didn't see that much because I am a 90s guy, late 90s guy, so I haven't watched 80s and all stuff, but I do want to watch it nonetheless. But then actually, I missed to say that the place which he worked in Kansas City, that was not a Mid South Wrestling. It was prior to that, 6 months before. This was where he met Marty Jannetty, and this was American Wrestling Association, AWA, and this was a place where he had a match with Vader, and that I said that fun stuff that they had, and they actually developed a bad reputation as well, because of their wild behavior, because of the influence of the drugs and all, cocaine and all on them. They used to have wild behaviors like destroying hotel rooms, bar fighting and all. So initially the Rockers actually, this was a name of the tag team. Rockers actually were joining WWF. They Vince McMahon actually was in addition to that, Michaels actually was introduced to bad things, the bad the bad road that you had seen in every wrestler's career. That's drugs. And Marty Jannetty was into all these things, and they were the party guys, and they used to party, as Jannetty says, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and weekend as well. They used to party a lot, and there was a point where were having a match with Vader and Vader actually asks, "Is these guys doing the party guys?" Because they used to party as well, and they used to put some great matches as well. Even though they were like that, they were like made for each other type of stuff. While Marty Jannetty was kind of a very outspoken, and when Shawn Michaels' voice introduced into that stuff, he actually become outspoken, and he was an introvert guy. So by his relationship with Marty Jannetty, he improved a lot in his wrestling career, as well as he actually was introduced into a bad road as well. So positive and negative for him. So they actually wanted to work in the big organization, and that was WWF, and they were kind of sweeping out the whole territories at that 90s late 90s time. So that was the time they actually were thinking about going to WWF, and Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon were facing each other, and after the match, all four of the members clicked the Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, and Shawn Maltman, Triple H, and all. They all get to have that moment inside the ring actually. And Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard say they didn't like what they did, and that was the thing why Triple H got the punishment, and he was going to win that King of the Ring 1997 at that year, but that moment was given to Stone Cold Steve Austin, who became the one of the biggest superstar at that point of time after that, and he used that moment to his full opportunity, and and he took full advantage of that opportunity, Steve Austin. And Triple H was the one who was getting punishment because Shawn Michaels was WWE champion, and Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, Diesel and Razor Ramon, okay, they were leaving from the company to WCW, and this was a time as well when WCW was very bad as well. I had seen some episodes. I had seen the episodes of 1996. It was very bad at that time, and they were not doing good with the counterpart of WCW. How we're doing? They were doing not the best, but somewhat they were kind of better than WWE, because WWE had the stars, because but they had no interesting storylines, or they didn't have that development of the character. I still to this day would say that WWE had that had the superstars or the wrestlers that would have been booked well, could have been turned around, because WCW was uh, they they were focusing on just that new NWO storyline, but WWE had no story interesting going on that first time. So the business was very down, and Shawn Michaels was the WWF championship, and that was a slow period of wrestling for them as well. So his drug use, as he was into it from many years, ever since he was introduced by Marty Jannetty, and he was into that very well. It also increased very huge when Waltman and all leave the organization, and there was Triple H only who was who used to he said actually who used to help him to get him to the home and take care of him. He used to check out on him every 2 to 3 hours if he's died or not, because such was a substance abuse that he had, such was a down period, such was a depression that he had going through, and and that drug thing really affected the Shawn Michaels career going forward. And then we get to the next thing, which was the Lost Mile promo that Shawn Michaels did, and Bret had still to actually said that to this day said that he uh, didn't know that he didn't think that Shawn Michaels was had a injury or something, that's why he's going, because he thought that he doesn't want to lose to me, that's why. And this was the point where Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart were rivalry, and also so in life rivalry actually, was real life rivalry was gonna start actually, was kind of starting in that time. And Shawn Michaels, actually WWF had their explanation that HBK suffered a torn ACL, and that was the promo which actually uh, was saddened by every fans of WWF, because Shawn Michaels was a very successful champion, and I would say, but the kind of period of wrestling when it was not the right time for him, but the moments that he got was very good, as I would say, but the timing was very bad because WCW were whooping their ass at WWF ass. So Shawn Michaels and then uh, uh, Shawn Michaels was in a bad time that time, and Triple H actually really helped him a lot. And then we got to the infamous Montreal Screw Job that we all know, 1,000 times we should have read about it. But they actually said that Vince McMahon, Triple H, and Shawn Michaels did know about this thing. But Brett actually, after the match, he asked, "Did you know about this thing?" But he said, "I didn't know. I didn't. I swear I didn't know." But he actually known about that, because Brett was going to WCW, and they wanted to take him out of the belt, but Vince McMahon actually rang the bell without Brett tapping without Brett submitting to the match, and Shawn Michaels actually won the championship from Bret Hart, and that's what. that's what they that what happened in Montreal School Job. And this was also a point where fans were starting to realize, or for starting to understand that this is a kayfabe environment. This is not real and all. But they had fair share of understanding what is going on in the in the wrestling business, who used to watch wrestling and all, hardcore wrestling fans and all at that time. So that was the time. So after this, they got to the year of 1998, where there was a casket match between was going to happen between Undertaker and Shawn Michaels at 1998 Royal Rumble, and he actually suffered a back injury when Shawn Michaels actually, when Undertaker actually uh, uh, throwed him out over the top rope, and he actually hit the casket's edge to his back, and he was injured. And after that, actually, he actually took many medications and all many medicines for that, and he was injured after that. Uh, he was actually due to this injury, he actually dropped the title to Steve Austin, and he was actually very bitter to very kind of anger and kind of frustration that was getting into him, because he had injured. Now he want to that lose the title from him. So because he was a kind of a point where he was very selfish of him. He wanted to be at the top at all time, and he didn't care about the business as much. He didn't want to put over guys and all. And Shawn Michaels had that attitude, and that was a thing that came into his head. And that's what that had happened at that time. And yeah, this was the time when Shawn actually injured them, and he was rehabbing back in his home. And this was the time. This was the point when the where the documentary biography actually turned onto his and real life family stuff, actually, where he saw actually Nitro Girls in WCW, and he actually contacted Hulk Hogan, and Hogan actually introduced Shawn to Rebecca, who was working for WCW. And after dating for 2 weeks and all, and they were married, and they were married actually. And they were actually having a good life forward. And that actually was a turning point for Shawn Michaels' life. He actually was starting to get from this drug addiction, because of because of his family and all. And there was also incident that happened. Shawn and Triple H didn't talk for a year or so. This was at 2000ish 2001 time when WCW was going out of business, because Shawn and Triple H didn't want to this was an episode of Raw after SummerSlam. And Triple H actually see Shawn Michaels, and Shawn Michaels was very angry uh, because they actually had some confrontation that they had there. And they Shawn Michaels actually talked very bad to Triple H actually that time. And they almost Shawn Michaels had said that they almost didn't talk about 1 or 2 years. And Shawn immediately then after that uh, uh, as his family was growing, he had two kids and all. His children's actually kind of uh, started to ask why my dad is like this, and he used to take drugs. And his children actually started to understand what his dad was going through. So this was the time he actually quit the drugs and all. And then he gone to a very spiritual kind of life, because his wife actually introduced him to religious stuff, like Bible and all. And he used to go to church, and he used to follow the religious books. He used to read and all a lot about religious things. So he was getting far away from that bad road that he had for years and years, and that had damaged his career and all. And that actually and after that some point Shawn actually called Triple H, and he actually felt sorry. And he but Triple H said he didn't was very angry about it, because they were very nice friends, and they had also an angle play out in the in the episode as well, in Raw episode as well. They hug it out each other. And Triple H actually said that, uh, why don't you return to the ring, because because as you are cleared and all, you are far away from that drug stuff. And Shawn Michaels said, should I do that because I have my family and all? Is this the right time to do? Is this the right time to get into now? And he was spectacle, but triple Shawn Michaels said, Shawn Michaels actually said to Triple H, if you do this kind of thing, because he trusted Triple H that much, Triple H kind of turn heel and all. If you can do this kind of work, I actually trust you more than anyone. So he returned to the ring then, and then we saw the Shawn Michaels and Triple H rivalry, and that we had seen matches, very one of the greatest rivalries that we had seen, the friends turned bitter rivalries. Uh, that we had seen that we have seen very good matches that they had, that three stages of hell and all, very good match, falls count anywhere, that match was very great. They showed some clips as well from that match and all. Then we got Shawn Michaels was I would say was at that point he was it was his second like a reborn of Shawn Michaels, because the first career he had, that I won't say that was bad or something, but I like the second one the most, because I didn't follow first one as much. I was not very liking his character as much in the first run, but when he got to the second run, it was one of the best, and he had some best matches with many superstars like Chris Benoit, uh, many superstars like Chris Jericho, and that Ric Flair's retirement match. Excellent storytelling that we had got there, and they actually after that they got to that match as well, where Shawn Michaels and Ric Flair's retirement match, and Ric Flair. Well, he is one of the greatest wrestlers to ever step to that ring, ever step foot in that ring. So that was that, and that was a very good match. And I would still say one of the greatest WWE matches of the company. I would say in a whole, it would be in a top 50, at least I would say, even though it would be not it would be not in top 10 or something, but definitely in top 50, this match would come. So excellent storytelling there. And then we also got his retirement match as well. Uh, was at WrestleMania 26. Before that, they had already had a match at WrestleMania 25. Both matches were very good, I would say. Both matches were can be argued with each other, like this is good, that is good, but both match was very good. And this was the time when the WWE, that best period of many fans actually consider that that was the last kind of years that WWE was at the very good business days. And after that, they were drowning after that, from WrestleMania 30 or 28 onwards after that, because of old superstars actually going from the wrestling business. Uh, they were getting aged. So this was a documentary actually. Uh, Pretty good documentary, I would say. And he actually now lives his life, contributing his talent and contributing his experience and his knowledge to new talents. And it's such a treat to see him doing that, because I actually likes imparting knowledge. And that's what the point that I'm doing this reviews as well. Actually, I like to explain and all. So that's why, if you know something, you should share about that knowledge with other ones in your business. And that's the important thing. And that's the greatest stuff that anyone can do in their career, of what they choose to do. So this was my review of A&E's biography. There was some hiccups as well while talking, because uh, there were so many things that I wanted to cover, but nevertheless, you would have enjoyed this video, I think so. I would improve upon my podcast uh, way going forward as well. And new contents are coming soon this week. I would be uploading that. So be sure to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And be safe, stay energetic, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.